Welcome back to Media Week. A war of words broke out this week over just who has the biggest NRL audiences on radio. James Manning, this was between Triple M and 2GB. Settle the debate.
We love
who
a
is
good
it?
war of words. And Triple M, it's been very cheeky calling itself the home of NRL because they got some extra rights this year and they've really been pushing it hard. Of course, that's sort of been undisputed in years past that it was 2GB. They really didn't have any competition, but Triple M's going really hard now, so they're being very cheeky. And this week they said, look, we had I think they called it the most men under 55 or most men. It was a generic term, but 2GB came out and said, look, actually we've got the best announcers, the best callers, and we've actually got the biggest audiences. And they had some graphs that pretty impressively look, but when you really drill down to it, it's a bit like the AFL arguments in Melbourne between Triple M and 3AW. The AM stations tend to get a bit of an older audience. The FM stations get the younger audience. So advertisers probably go a bit each way and maybe go across. If you really want a young audience, you'll go FM. If you want most people, including some of your older listeners, you'll go AM. So they're both doing well. Let's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's just call it even. We know on the Business Channel we're always talking about cost of living pressures because the pollies love to bring all that up. News Australia lifting the price of its Sunday papers. Will they get away with it?
Yeah, look, I think they will. We've talked a lot that newspapers historically have been undercharging for the product. You get a pretty good product. Yeah. You know, the Sunday papers were less
you
than
can't
$2
finish it,
not
let's
long
be
ago.
honest.
Yeah, exactly. If you read the whole thing, you'd be there all day.
Yeah.
So they're putting the price up. It's not a huge jump. $2 to $2.50, I think most of the News Limited Sunday metros, that's the Sunday Mail in Brisbane, the Sunday Telly, the Sunday Herald Sun. But to sort of soften the blow, they've got a massive giveaway this Sunday. In Melbourne, they're promoting 600 tablets they're giving. So there'll be a giveaway every minute Sunday from 9 a.m. through to 6 p.m. So it's a Sony tablet. It's worth about $600. So it should,
ease the pain.
Yeah, it might bring in some people who haven't bought a Sunday paper and they're going to think $2.50, what's the big deal?
All right, we'll move on to the television ratings for week 28 for free to air. Walk us through some of the highlights of the ratings.
Yeah, look, the block's been going fantastic. Big Business, Hamish and Andy, a Gap Year Asia, top 10 show. They moved from Thursdays to Mondays, getting even bigger audiences because of that. Again, the block all the way through. They've just got a little bit over a week to go with the block. And then it might be game on again. 7 might get back into it. But all the block. Sunday night from 7 and 7 News Sunday, a few of the 7 programs in there.
Can I just throw in here a question about the Ashes?
Yes.
Which is underway again.
On Gem,
yes,
for free-to-air viewers, or Fox Sports if you have subscription TV.
Exactly. So if you've got subscription TV, you're on Fox Sports, but otherwise you would have been on Gem, which is the digital channel. So can I just say we happened to be watching that one at the time and we were remarking at what seemed to be much smaller advertisers, let's put it like that, the direct marketing kind of ads.
I won't ask
it was
why
almost...
you weren't watching Fox Sports. We'll overlook that.
We will.
But I think it was a bit of an experiment. They're still relatively new, the digital channels, as they used to be called. It's the multi-channels, but they got such massive audiences. You're going to see a lot of mainstream advertisers wanting to get on there now. Nine won't have any trouble selling it. The biggest audiences ever for the multi-channels during that first test.
Biggest audiences ever.
Yep, massive shares. Second test at Lords, there'll be a lot of advertisers who want to get part of that action. So I think you'll see a dramatic change in the ad spots
you might notice
for the rest of the tour.
So if you noticed it, I'm glad because, we're certainly commenting. Okay, we move on, turning the page to, I think, a little bit of subscription television chat. Let's have a look at some of the ratings here for week 28.
Yeah, a bit of everything there. The Lions tour did very well, still AFL and NRL all in those top 3. We've also got the top 5 non-sport this week too, I think, Brooke, making a bit of a comeback. Yeah, River Cottage Lifestyle doing fantastically well, the Australian edition there. And I think that was the final episode of Wentworth, that drama that's big business for Foxtel, and they've commissioned a second series for next year.
Commissioned a second series. All right, let's have a chat about the Origin as well. Talk to us about some ratings there.
Yeah, look, biggest Origin audience ever this week, 4.19 million across the metro market and in regional areas. So beat the game from earlier this year, which was the end of last year. But anyway, it was a record audience. Did really well for them. And it's doing right well. It's not just Sydney, Brisbane anymore. The 9-1 in Melbourne, second biggest show for the night in Melbourne. They also won Adelaide, and on Gem, it was on Gem in Perth, and was top 10. So did fantastic business for them.
I noticed there's not much chat in Sydney today about the Origin, but we went talking about that.
Yeah, they're showing the streak, eh?
Yeah, they're showing. Well, that's another big TV moment of the week. We should have mentioned that.
Yeah. Fantastic.
With quite a spray tan, I think some people seem to be suggesting. We've got Foxtel Go, worth mentioning at this point too, now available on the Samsung Android phones.
Samsung Android, and also there's an app for PC and Macs if you want to watch it on your desktop computer or your laptop. And if you're a subscriber, you can now license it for 3 mobile devices. It used to be 2, so if you're in a multi-tablet household, 3 people can now be on at the same time.
Something we have to mention, this was a mockbuster, they're calling it. Laughable special effects, one of the most talked about films. Sharknado. It's coming to Australia.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Universal channel on Foxtel. I think it'll do good business for them. Sci-Fi was the channel in the States. Despite all the social media hype, it didn't really break out of the ratings pattern that the sci-fi movies have been doing over there. So you can get a lot of chatter on social media, but it doesn't always translate to bigger audiences.
But do you think the aftermath social media chatter actually is more powerful?
Look,
I'm actually interested to see it, although
but I think they'll have repeat screenings, and I'm sure those audiences will be bigger. So, but for the initial one, not so much difference.
Okay.
But for repeat viewings, and they're working on a sequel now too. Yeah, so you can bet there'll be a bigger buzz about it.
Did you see it? Any
no, I haven't
clips
seen
of it?
Yeah, I've seen the little clips.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. It's sharks in a tornado.
Yeah, good stuff. Let's take a quick break here on Media Week. We're looking at the magazine sector when we get back, particularly the all-important food category. Delicious held its annual produce awards. That's next.